Always ABC. Always be creating or always be closing.
Creating.
All day long, right? You're feeling it. The beard gang. That's what's up, man. Why not? Why not? I'm sure your audience would love some of that. Some change, a little bit. But you look a little leaner, though. Are you okay?
Yeah, I've been on a health kick, man. I've dropped a lot of weight in January so far. Feeling good.
That's good, man. That's good, man. I'm on the same journey, man. I'm trying to. I actually lost 13 since November.
Nice.
Yeah.
Man.
You gotta stay healthy, man, right?
I love it. You gotta keep you around so you can keep adding value to entrepreneurs, man.
Absolutely. Your one word, I'm just gonna go in straight, man, because we only have limited time here. So I'm just gonna get in there and see.
Nice.
I went through it I don't know, I think I just listened to it one Sunday evening. In effort to try to make it the last time we try to get on.
Yeah.
Hopefully you're better, man, right? You were sick, right?
Yeah, I decided I'm going to not get sick again.
Cool.
I just decided. That's it. I'm going to be healthy, period.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. All right. So your one word, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I think it's one of the best books that I've personally read in the self-help, especially for entrepreneurs. It's so the level of insights that I got out of that book was so unexpected for me. I felt like the title, right? When you look at the title, it's so mild and so straightforward that you expect to just read okay, I get it. He's going to talk about just one word, right? But there was so much more to it, man. How long did it take you to put that book together?
Well, I mean, first off, Tux, really appreciate that, man. It means a lot. I know you pride yourself on taking in a lot of information, so that's an honor and very humbling. In terms of putting together, when I first started this journey, the idea wasn't to write a book. It was for me. It's like, what am I about? I initially came down to believe, well, how do I build a business around this? And then started looking at other businesses that had built a business around their one word, and nobody had a blueprint or a manual to follow. They're all just kind of figuring it out on their own. And I took pieces of what was working for everybody and said, hey, I can turn this into my business. So there was a journey that took a while to kind of figure out. When I decided, okay, I'm going to write the book, it probably took me about a year to write.
Okay.
And then almost a year to get it out, just with publisher,
Right.
It's a frustrating, slow experience for entrepreneurs who, we want it out ASAP, but
right. Like your regular video that takes 2 or 3 days, right, to put together.
Yeah, I mean, if it was all under my control, so I signed a deal with Penguin Random House, it's a major publisher. If it was self-published, it would have been out way sooner, but they have a process to go through, and so I submitted it to them in January, and it was released, final version, December 6th, so almost a full year to come out.
It was worth it, man. It was worth it. Because, in recent times, I've been reading some books too. I'm on audible.com, so I'm subscribed, and I use the credit, once a month. I'm not really a reader. I rather listen than and consume that way. And I'm so glad that you have it on audio, because I was like, I hope it's not one of those dinosaur type of, I just launched a book and there's no audio, right? So it was easy for me to knock it out. And the 3 C's, right? Core, campaign, and company. I've taught different type of 3 C's in the past: consistency, commitment, and whatever, right? And sure. This was a new one, and I resonate with core. Now, core selling, is that synonymous to branding?
They go hand in hand. The idea of core selling is people buy why you're doing something before they buy what you do. So, for the people who may not be as familiar with what the book is all about, it's about self-awareness, understand who you are, what the most important single core value is to you, and then helping you build a life that is more purposeful, and for the entrepreneurs, bring that to your business. Core selling is now figuring out, okay, especially you're looking at network marketing people, a lot of us selling the same product as everybody else, right? Like you're selling, here's your product line. It's the same as everybody else. Now go sell it. So how do you stand out when you don't have control over the products that you're selling? A big part is your belief system. Like, I'm going to buy, why should I buy from you instead of the 4,000 other people who are selling the exact same thing? It's right. Because I like you. I like what you stand for. I like the difference that you're trying to make. I like your values. I like to deal with you on a human level. And so if you think about successful businesses, you think about like a Whole Foods. Why do people go to Whole Foods? Well, you expect the products there to be more ethically raised and better for the environment. And if you go to a Costco, you might be looking at the packaging to see what chemicals are in there, but you go to Whole Foods and you expect it to be more wholesome, and you pay a premium for that. And so I want everybody to have one core thing that they're about and to express it so that you start attracting more ideal clients and people who want to buy from you because of who you are and the message you put out there, as well as the products being beneficial and helpful to them and solving the problem. And so when people first start selling, they usually sell the features, like here's what our product does. And then somewhere along the way, maybe training or their upline or somebody tells them, hey, you got to sell the benefits, not just the features, right? Nobody cares about that product. What can it do for me? So it's great. So you get, and that works, but it's just not as efficient, where if people know that they can get a feeling from you, they feel like they're supporting something greater than themselves. Yes, the product has to work for them, but you're now not just appealing to their minds to make a logical decision, it's their hearts. So they have an emotional connection to what you're trying to do. And that's where you really get loyalty and referrals, and people want to join your downline. And so that's where not only a lot of dollars, but a lot of impact is made.
Right. Now, the brutal flower business.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm from the school of thought where I think sometimes, I'm starting to deviate more obviously in the direction of content marketing that's applicable to any business, no matter what you do. But I'm also still finding the balance a little bit. I feel like some products just don't require so much of that. They sell themselves. Do you still feel that way with respect to the story you told about the brutal flower business? Now, before I go forward, let me just tell everybody, like, listen, you got to get the book, Your One Word. Okay. So if you want to really connect everything I'm saying, you got to get the book and you want to read it, especially if you have something to sell. Even if you're selling time, that means a job. you need to get this book. Now, so with that being said, man, with respect to brutal flower business, what is your take? Do you think even if your product sell itself, right? Because I feel like people who need flowers. But how, in a situation where flower is seasonal, it depends on what time of the year, it depends on some other factors. What do you have to say about that for someone that would say, listen, my product sells itself, I don't need all that?
I say you're going to get your lunch stolen from you. Like, yes, people buy flowers at Valentine's Day, but why should I buy from your flower shop? Like, you're selling red roses, so is the next 10 flower shops next to you, and they're selling it online for half the price. So why am I going to buy from you instead of everybody else? If you are in such a hot opportunity that you have an exclusive product for now and the product sells itself, great, you have a window. You have a window to do well. It's like, here's what it is. It's like, hey, I'm young. I don't have any history of illness in my family. Why should I take care of myself? I'm doing well. But you know what? Like, it's going to catch up to you.
Yeah.
Competition is going to come and enter your market. Like, if you're just eating, Smarties all day long, your body's going to shut down on you. If you don't care about your customers and you're just thinking the product sells itself, you might be okay for a window, but then you're going to lose business. And so, the flower business, this is a story that I tell in here, and I don't mean flowers, maybe the market sells itself, but a flower store has to work really hard to stand out and win customers. And so I work through an example of somebody who is starting a flower shop in the book. There's a real example. And I asked him, why did you start this business? Because he's having a hard time getting it going. And he said, flowers make him feel calm. Like I started Flower Shop because I want to feel calm. Being around flowers make me feel calm. It's like, great. You need to build your entire business around the feeling of calm, so that when I come to your flower shop, I feel calm. I want to feel the same feeling that you're feeling. And so everything from what flowers do you pick, to what's the name of the store, to how am I greeted when I come in, to is everything like crammed in as much as possible, or do you take time in your displays, to, you know, what is there music playing? Like, it should be a place that people want to come to feel calm, and buy flowers that will remind them to feel calm when they go home. And I want you guys to build something that I would drive past 5 different flower shops to come to yours, to make it a destination site, because you stand for something more important. So now I'm not just buying roses for my wife, I'm buying the feeling of calm and bringing that home. And some people won't care. Some people, you know what, I just want a dozen roses for the cheapest possible price, that's all I need. And those are not ideal customers for you. Like, anybody who's only shopping for the cheapest deal is not a good customer for you. You're not going to make your margin. They're not going to be loyal. They're not going to be downline to you. They're not going to, like, it's just, let them go to somebody else. Where you want the people who value the same things that you value. And those will be lifetime customers. They'll want to join your operation. They'll want to pass more business on to you. And so if you don't clearly articulate why you're different and what you stand for, then I can't tell the difference. Like, you're just the same flower selling person as everybody else. And so all I have to compare on is price. And so it's up to you as the entrepreneur to showcase what you stand for and why you're different.
Absolutely. Now, let me go back to the branding thing a little bit. Personal branding or just branding?
I think to be authentic, it has to be both. I think if you are projecting a corporate brand that you don't actually live yourself, it's going to fall. Like, it's not going to work. How many times do you see an ad for a company that says, like, we really value customer service, like the customer's number one. And then you go into their store and there's huge lineups and the people are rude and the emails take forever to come back. And it's just, you know that customer service is not number one. And so the only way to actually make those things connect is that if your business core value is your personal core value. Because if I actually care about customer service, if it like means so much to me, then I'm going to do a good job when I bring it to the business. Right. And so understanding what is so important for you. I think a lot of people see it just as a marketing thing, like, hey, this will help us bring in more clients. And it is branding. It is sending the message out, but it only really works if it's really authentic. And so it has to come, it's not, the whole point of this exercise isn't come up with a tagline and branding for your business. It's come up with a tagline and branding for yourself and then bring that to your business.
You know, and I was, you know, I've never really been the person to say, oh yeah, don't take it personal, it's business. I've never been that type of person to say that, but I've been around a lot of people, even people that are not business people, that use that sentence all the time. But eventually I started to have this epiphany, like, wait, if you're not taking your business personal, then why are you wasting your time running the business, you know? So that definitely fits right in there real quick. Now I'm going to go to your personal person, that's what we'll call it, Steve Jobs, right?
Sure.
Steve Jobs, you know, my wife was watching a story of Steve Jobs. His personal life wasn't the best, right? Now, to piggyback a little bit on what you said earlier, you know, the iPhones can easily be categorized as a cells today, but they still don't depend on that. They tell a story around it. They build something stronger around it that makes people, and they don't stop. Like, they keep going that way. Would that be an example of what you were saying earlier in terms of, you know, it's not a matter of selling itself. You only have a certain window of time. And if you're not going all in, the storytelling, the branding and all that stuff, the core value, would that be an example of that?
Yeah, Apple under Jobs is a great example, and we'll see how it continues to do kind of beyond his term there. But people love Apple. People will buy anything Apple. Like when a new laptop comes out, they want the Apple. And so that's the kind of brand loyalty that I want to create for everybody. You know, when people are looking to buy whatever product, I want you to be the first person that they think of. You know, I want to follow Tux because I love all of Tux's stuff. If Tux has a book, I want to buy it. Like, I don't even know what it's about. It doesn't matter. It's Tux's book. I'm going to buy it. right? That's what you want to create for your audience. And Steve Jobs is a great scenario where, you know, he was a multimillionaire in his early 20s. Multi-millionaire, early 20s. Could have done anything he wanted. Traveled the world, vacation for the rest of his life, whatever. And he was a guy motivated by impact. You know, I want to make a dent in the universe. That's this famous line, impact. And so he worked till the day he died trying to do that with Apple, trying to make a big impact.
Yeah.
And I think to have success in business, money is definitely important, but it's number two to something else. You got to find what that something else is. I'm not saying money, like some people think money's everything. It's not, but it's still important. Like we're not running charities. I mean, unless you are, and even if you are a charity, money's still important. But it's number two. You got to find what the number one thing is that you will not sacrifice. Like you will not sell out on this important value because that's at the core of who you are. You'll do other stuff, but something has to be more important than money in your life. And that's part of what your one word is about, like identifying that thing that is so important to you that you'll never sacrifice for any price.
Now, I'm going to pull you into a little bit of consulting here. The last time we had a conversation, we were talking about my own words. And then I said leverage. And but the truth is that it just came out of the back of my mind. Now, truthfully, leverage is a big deal in everything I do. If I couldn't use this video over and over again, I'm probably not going to do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So leverage is a big deal for me. But there's one word that I've been using since day one that I launched my company. My company is myEmpirePRO, and that's empire. You know, and that's the idea of I'm not a marketer. It's kind of primary on the list of what I do. I'm not a real estate investor. I'm not a network marketer. I'm not none of those stuff. I'm just here to build an empire. And I'm here to help other people build their empires as well. And that was the whole idea behind the company, myEmpirePRO. As a matter of fact, even with real estate clients and partners that I have, I don't deal with people that just want to buy a home. I deal with people that want to build an empire around real estate. You see what I'm saying? So I'm stuck. Is it leverage or empire? If you were to advise me.
Got it. So one, you know, at the end of the day, this is a very personal decision that you need to come up with and figure out. You know, I can give you some guidance, but again, I can't tell you which one it is for you.
Got it.
I can tell you a couple things. First off, your one word should feel more and more right with time. So some people don't get it right away, or they start on one, and if it starts to feel less and less, like if you default to leverage, this is it, and then the next day and the next day is like, I don't know. If it's less and less doubt, it's not it, right? Like, it's not it. It's part of who you are. It's great. It's not like Tux hates leverage, right? It's just not the big thing. And if you sleep on empire and like more and more, empire, like the more time goes by, it should feel more and more and more right. If it's not, then it's the wrong one, and that's okay. I mean, it's important. It's one of the most important exercises you'll ever do in your life. So, hey, if it takes a month to figure it out, that's okay. It's gonna give you the, you know, you're gonna be able to leverage this for the rest of your life. So it's worth it. Second is think about who you're always going to be. Like, in 10 years, is Tuck still gonna care about empire building? Is it just like this phase, or is it like, no, this is it. I'm always going to be empire. I'm always going to do this. So it's not just a New Year's resolution kind of thing. And then the third thing is, I encourage people to also do the credo. And the credo is picking the three things that make up your one word.
Right.
And what you'll often find is when you have multiple words that you're trying to figure out, one actually fits underneath the other. So like, okay, let's go. Empire is my word. Leverage is a part of empire. To build an empire, you need leverage. And here's how you do it. To build an empire, then you pick two other branches. To build an empire, you need whatever. And you need something else. And so you can think, okay, I really like leverage as part of what I'm doing, but it's not the main thing. It fits underneath. And so all of your content, all of your, you know, marketing, all of the activities that you gain is seen through the lens of empire, but then has to pass through the filters of, okay, like if this doesn't give me leverage, I'm not going to do it. If this is not, you know, whatever the other two branches are, I'm not going to do it. And so that's some
That makes
Guidance.
so much sense. Well, the first of all thing I picked up is the thing you said about time. If time and time and time over and over again you feel like this is it, which obviously Empire is my Empire Pro is now 2011, 6 years old now, right? It's time proven, and I feel strong about it all the time. Not like I don't feel strong about leverage, but it almost feels like it's a characteristics. It's one of the characteristics of an empire, because to build an empire, 24 hours is just not going to be enough. You need leverage. So that makes so much sense, man. Thank you for that, man. That's free consulting, right?
There you go. There you go. Well, and then also I'd encourage you to find the other two. Like have more clarity and definition around what empire means
Right.
to you.
Right.
And then you can spread that, and it helps you with all the other work that you're doing. So leverage is one of the branches. Great. What are the other two? And maybe you come up with an hour. If you think about it, sleep on it, whatever. It'll help you with a lot of different initiatives that you're launching to help build your empire.
I'm definitely going to work on that. Now, 5 core questions. Happy, connect happiness, traits you hate. There's a constant, right? We just talked about that, right?
Yeah.
Someone else is doing it. No, that's the 4 limiting beliefs, right? Is this who you really are? That's on there, right? Can you speak a little bit more to that? Now, if you want more elaborate again on this, you need to pick up the book, Your One Word. Okay, you speak to that a little bit?
Sure. So this now gets into how do I find what my one word is, right? I want to have that self-discovery. So, you can start by thinking about, again, like we talked about, this is what you're going to still be in 10 years and in 20 years and what you've always gravitated towards. Like you didn't pick empire in your name as I'm just going to call it empire. Like there was meaning. You've always liked that word.
Yes.
Right. And you always will. And so that's because a lot of people sometimes pick it up and think, okay, this year I'm going to be about this. Like, no, it's not this year. It's always. It's forever. It's legacy that you're building. Then to get into the nuts and bolts, a great way to start is think about all the things that make you happy, that have made you happy in the past, that have been your highest highs. Go back to think about the highest highs that you've had in your life, and then think about what was happening in that moment. Describe it. Think about who your favorite teacher was. Of all the hundreds of teachers you've had, where most of them you forget their names, 1 teacher, 2 teachers stood out to you. Why? What did they do? What was so special about them? What was your favorite lesson that you learned from your parents? Or what's your favorite song or your favorite movie? And why do you like them? And so you just fill a page of happiness and the things that make you come alive. And then you start to look at what connects them. What brings them together? So for me, my favorite movie as an example is Seabiscuit. It's this movie about this racehorse that is too small and this jockey that's too big and an owner that has no money, and they nobody thinks they're going to win, and they find some way to come together and they win all these races. And so it's some people think it's a really cheesy movie. I love it. It's the Believe story. It's I can't help it, 30 times. And so everything that I've always been about has been Believe related. My parents always told me that I was a Castrilli Carmichael and I could do anything that I wanted. And so it's been a consistent theme. And all of my highest highs and happiest moments were around that Believe kind of idea.
Right.
So it's something you've always been, and that's one exercise to look at. Some people find it easier going negative than positive. So instead of looking at the highest highs, look at the lowest lows. Look at the people that you can't stand being around. Maybe they're not terrible people, just they have a quality that, you know what, I don't want to be with this person. It could be an old relationship, it could be a former boss, a classmate, coworker, whatever. Like these people just drive me nuts and I feel nauseous hanging around them. And then what is the common trait between them? Like what's the one value that they all share that you can't stand being around? And then that's your anti-word. The opposite's going to be your one word. So those are some of the exercises you can narrow down that to help you find your one word.
Right. Now I'm going to jump over to movement and building a tribe and all of that. By the way, I'm on Snapchat real quick. Yeah. So I'm going to jump to movement and stuff like that. Now with movement and building a tribe, you just mentioned that quick movie about the Belief story that you just talked about.
Yeah.
What is it about people that even if they will find that movie cheesy before, but just because you just said it, your 500,000 subscribers now don't find it cheesy anymore? Is that something that from obviously knowing business, marketing, and branding over time? Can you explain what is that happening in people's brain? All of a sudden, they don't find it cheesy anymore. They thought it was cheesy, but all 500,000 of your subscribers or the loyal listeners that plug in every day, I don't know if it's 2,000, 10,000 of them, right?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, they're like, oh, that's true. Let me go check out that movie now because they heard it here, right?
Sure. Well, so the people who are subscribed to my YouTube channel, they like the message. If you don't believe, you're gonna get sick of me. You're not gonna want to watch my videos. You're gonna unsubscribe pretty quickly. And so I'm less concerned about trying to convince somebody that this movie is great and about believe. Like if you say, you know what, I saw Seabiscuit, I thought it was really stupid. Cool, that's great. Like I don't want to convince you.
Right.
You have different values than me. That's okay. Like I'm not trying to make you more believe. What I'm trying to do is find the people who already like it and who are believe and bring them to me.
Right.
I want to build my tribe, not by convincing people that, my way is best, but by finding people with shared values who already agree. Like maybe they've never heard of Seabiscuit, but they already like the message of believe.
Right.
So I think you have much more success in business in dealing with people who, in life too, like if somebody's a bad person, if somebody's stealing or something, or like really yelling at employees, it's the grind to try to convince them to change their ways. You got to go deep into personal issues, and I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to convince anybody that I'm right. I want to work with the people who feel the same way and help them.
Right, absolutely. Now, Gary Vaynerchuk actually said on a video that he released today that if a girl said no to you, you're not gonna get the next girl by sitting on the couch and cry over it for the next 1 year. You got to just get out there and keep going because the right one is out there. 4 limiting beliefs that hold you back. Too bold. What do you think? Someone else is doing it. Too simple. Now, what do you think? I've always believed about cousins or uncles or whatever, even close family members that come to me. They're trying to talk to a girl, right? They're already talking to the girl. They're thinking about taking it up to the next level. And they're asking me, what do you think? And I'm like, I don't know. What do you want me to think? You're already dating the girl, right? And what do I think? I think what you think, you have to feel solid in that. But it's true in life that people get to a space and they're asking themselves and other people, what do you think? How's that related to business with regards to the 4 limiting beliefs again, which is going to be, you can find more details about that in your one word.
Yeah, I think we make too many decisions based off of the opinions and expectations of other people. We care too much about what other people think, and we end up doing the thing that they want us to do instead of doing the thing that really we want to do. And so when you're doing this really personal exercise of trying to find what your most important core value is, especially with something like this, you need to spend more time talking to yourself and less time talking to other people, right? Like if you come on and say, hey, Evan, I'm trying to find my one word, and I don't know, I'm thinking empire. I think that's an interesting word for me. If I say, you know what, Tux, empire, I kind of feels like a weak word. Like if that then changes your decision, it's like, who cares what I think? That's your word, man. You got to go crush it. And so that happens to us too many times. We have this idea. We want to go out and chase something. And then we ask the people around us, and they say it's not a good idea, or they, don't agree with us. And so now, because my friend who's never done this before thinks that it's a bad idea, now I'm not going to do it all of a sudden. So like, who cares what they think? You want to go do something, go do it. Your friends may say, well, Tux, what makes you think you can build an empire? You didn't go to school for that, and you don't have the family connections for that, and you didn't start with a huge inheritance, or and so like all this negative talk, if you let that seep into here and you believe that, then you're playing a smaller life because of small people around you. Yeah. And so it's super important that you get to the point where you're confident in it, and who cares? Like if you don't believe, great. You don't need to convince me of anything. I'm good with what I'm all about.
We're all good. Absolutely. Now, movement and tribe, again, back to that. How does this fit into a local restaurant? you have a local business. You run a salsa spot, right? In Toronto, right? How does this fit into a local business?
So, I mean,
Because I'm not coming to your salsa spot from Jersey. If I come, it's going to be for one day. Maybe I'm in town, right? How does that?
Well, that's the thing. Like, why would you pick my spot to come to if you're in one day? Like, I wanted to be a tourist attraction, right? And so, the story is covered in the book too, but it's a salsa dance school. It's the largest salsa dance school probably in North America. Bigger than all of the other schools in my country, Canada combined. Why? Because we don't just teach salsa. Because you understand, when somebody goes and signs up for a salsa class, they're not signing up to try to be the world's best salsa dancer. Right? They're coming to learn something new. They're coming to meet somebody. They're coming to have fun because they have stressful jobs. They're coming as a new challenge. That's why people are coming. And so if all you give them is, here's how you do these steps, and do it again, and do it again, and do it again, they're going to leave, because that's not what they signed up for. And so the one word of the business is family, and it's about bringing people together and creating the family. And so that's the vibe. When you come to the studio, people sign up for a whole bunch of different reasons, but the ones who are like most connected to it feel like, I'm part of, like, I found the community. A lot of people come, they may be new to the city, they don't know anybody, they have instant friends now in the salsa group. And so, yes, we sell salsa dance lessons, but we're really selling a family, a community. And that's why people pick us over the other schools.
Right.
Or, maybe in another class, you'll be a better dancer. But you have to want to be like the greatest dancer in the world to go to the other schools. And so you'll get a great dance experience, but you're going to have fun doing it. You're going to meet a lot of great people doing it. And so it applies, like, why would I pick, if I want to go have Indian food tonight, like, why would I pick one Indian restaurant over another Indian restaurant? Why one sushi place or another? If I don't know why you're different, then I'm going to pick either convenience, like who's closer to me,
right,
or I'm going to pick price.
Which
right?
means which means lack of loyalty there too. If I pick something closer to,
like, why would I drive an hour to get to your sushi place? It's in the middle of nowhere. Why would I go do that?
That's something so huge that a lot of even churches don't pay attention to. Why would somebody, we have the church I go to here is called Faith Fellowship. Why would somebody drive all the way from New York City, Staten Island, upstate New York, to come to Faith Fellowship in Jersey? And they'll skip through all the small churches. What is it about them? It's applicable. It's true. It's applicable to everything, man.
Now, looking at that example, that's where, like, the church may say, you know what, Tux? The product sells itself.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we're a church. We have this community. We'll get 100 people to show up, and we're good, right? There's no ambition. There's no real desire to want to. It's not just, hey, if we have more people, we'll have more collections and we'll make more money.
Right.
So you have a message, right? Like, people come to listen to the pastor every week and give a message.
Right.
So if you turned up.
But they could get that message anywhere else, but there's something else, obviously, beyond the message that's attracting them to that particular pastor or whatever brand is surrounding. Like, for example, I'm a big fan of Joel Osteen. I don't necessarily listen to his stuff every week. My wife does. But I know that when I have a chance, if I'm in Houston, I would like to stop by the spot and see what's going on there, just at the Lakewood Church. So it's a big deal. I tell network marketers all the time, because many of them, they sell health and wellness, they sell this pill, they sell, Tommy Flat, Tommy Tea, and all this stuff. Like, that's not really what you're selling. What you're selling start from lifestyle, and you got to narrow down from there. It's got to be bigger. You got to find a purpose in what you sell. And that's probably more of what you're selling, right?
Yeah, 100%. You have to have an emotional connection, and then picking the products. Like, if your one word is inspire, okay, I want to live an inspiring life. I want to encourage other people to live an inspiring life. I think network marketing is a way to be able to do that. So great. Now you got to think about your product selection. Okay, so what am I going to sell? Well, what products make me feel inspired? If it's not in the top 10 list of products that, like, if I'm not inspired to sell that product, I shouldn't sell that product.
Yeah.
If I'm not using it, if I don't want to recommend it to my mom and say, hey, mom, this is a great product, then I shouldn't be selling that. Pick a different product or pick a different company. Like if the company you're with doesn't sell products that inspire you, then you're never going to be successful there. You may make a few bucks, but you're never going to really hit it hard. So go find the other company that you can do it with.
Right.
You know, if you're now building a downline, you want to inspire them too. You want to help them live inspired lives, right, and be a leader for them. And, you know, whatever that breaks down to for you. That's why when you pick your one word, it's a personal thing that initially you look at your life and say, okay, well, I need to fix that and that and that. But then it can be applied to any business, a church, a network marketing company, a salsa dance school, a sushi restaurant. It applies everywhere.
Everywhere. Absolutely. Now, I'm going to skip over this. I'm going to let them ponder on it. We have another sector of the audience that are in real estate investing and wholesaling. Okay. You know, and they're probably asking, how does this fit? How does my one word fit into me helping that homeowner get out of real estate? Get out of foreclosure. And how does that help me flip that house to a cash buyer? Maybe in one word, because I have some more important stuff I want to touch on, right? In one word, what would you say about real estate wholesale? Are you familiar with that market, people that flip houses?
It doesn't matter what you're selling. You're dealing with people, and people are emotional, and people have values.
Right.
And so if they feel like you have shared values, you're much more likely to get a deal done. And they're going to want to connect with you again and pass on business to you. And this guy was like, some people in real estate are going to really value the hustle. Like, that's a bulldog. This guy will get you the best deals, a negotiator. He's terrible to deal with, but he will negotiate like crazy and get you the best deal, right? Great. Some people love that. Some people want more hand-holding. Some people want to be, you know, guided through and mentored and explain everything. And, you know, any question, I'm here to help, and I will hold your hand to explain this. Great. Like, no, it's not right or wrong. But if there's a buyer who wants the negotiator and you're the hand-holding, kind, gentle one, you guys are going to fight. Like, it's not going to be a great relationship. And vice versa, the same thing. And so if you are in the business and you lead with, here's what I stand for, here's what I find valuable, here's how I work on a deal, here's what's most important to me, you're going to attract the people who like that. And the people who think that's stupid, great. We're both saving time. Go work with those people.
Not wasting time. Yeah, it's so much to go around. Hip hop and Crystal. That story, man.
You liked it, Jay-Z?
Because I can relate, because my era hip hop is late 90s, early 2000s that I paid some attention to hip hop, not these days. And I could relate because that was crazy, because as many times I could hear that brand, it's kind of weird that that company was that stupid.
Yeah, I mean, so the backstory, everybody in hip hop was drinking Cristal. You know, it was the bottle everybody had to have, and they were dropping the name in songs. And somebody asked the CEO of Cristal, hey, what do you think about rappers like Jay-Z dropping names? And he's like, well, we don't approve, but what can you do? We can't help it. And then, you know, Jay-Z saw that, and he's like, if you don't want our business, we'll go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And then he basically bought his own line of champagne, and everybody in the hip hop community dropped Cristal. And so, you know, you have an opportunity here to build a tribe, to have connected people who want to share your message. But if you don't share the same values, they're going to go somewhere else and maybe become your competition.
It's amazing how, as far back as that time, Jay-Z has even recognized it as a business. He mentioning those names as a business, because even up to today, you have people that don't understand the influencers, that don't understand the value of this thing right here, attention, right? And it's crazy that as far back, and then people wonder, and people talk sometimes like he's lucky. Like, no, he's not. It's not just lucky. He knows what he's talking about. His famous quote that I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman. And it goes as far back as then. But that story is phenomenal, and I find it extremely, it weirds me out that somebody could be that stupid and say, we don't approve. You don't approve? Are you dumb or something?
This is the history of business. So like, when Enzo Ferrari, back in the day, started Ferrari, one of his first clients was a guy named Ferruccio Lamborghini. And Lamborghini was selling tractors. He had a tractor. He was an entrepreneur selling tractors. And Ferruccio bought the car, and he said, listen, I love the engine. The motor's great. But the suspension, there's a whole bunch of other things that can make your Ferrari better. And Ferrari said, you just stick to making tractors.
What you do?
And I'll make cars.
Right.
And Lamborghini got so upset that he's like, I'll make a better car. And then he launched the Lamborghini. Right? So like it turned it into this competition. It's the same story. The guy from Cristal turned Jay-Z from a loyal customer into his biggest competition. And
so there's a trend there. Most people are not paying attention enough, and then they let opportunities pass them by. There's a trend there. It's happened over and over again. The person that's going to come up with the next revolutionary stuff is being like, yeah, like that, So we got to pay attention.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, history repeats itself, just in different industries. Everything that is going to happen has already happened. So the more you study and listen to books and fill your head with knowledge, the better prepared you'll be to capitalize on the next opportunity.
Now, 7 secrets of hiring. We're not going to go into that, but tell me what your number one is.
I think the hiring process is broken. I think my number one tip would be to lead with your one word so that people love or hate your job title and job position.
So you don't waste time again.
Yeah, like I'll lead with it to say, I'm looking for a programmer who believes in entrepreneurs. If I'm hiring a programmer, looking for a programmer who believes in entrepreneurs. And then the first paragraph will be what we do, my mission to help entrepreneurs. And I want to attract the programmer. Like some programmers will look at that and say, well, that's really stupid. Like believes in entrepreneurs. Right. Great. Perfect. Like we're not going to work well together. Go somewhere else.
Right.
I want the guy who will hustle because he loves that mission. He wants to be on board with the team. So that'd be my number one tip.
That's definitely fascinating, and it saved a lot of time. Now, clarify quickly between benefits and value. I'm struggling with that.
So, I mean, it comes to core selling, thinking about there's value in what I get from using a product. So like, I have a mug, right? I get value from being able to put hot tea in here and drink from it. And so, this mug has a thing on the bottom that keeps it so it's not hot and I can hold it like this, right? So like that's the economic value that I get from it. I'm willing to pay a price for it. Well, like who makes this mug? What do they stand for? What's the good that they're trying to make in the world? Like I go to Starbucks, the picture of Howard Schultz behind me, the founder of Starbucks. I hate their coffee. I can't stand Starbucks coffee. But I still go to Starbucks because I love Howard Schultz and the message.
And what he stands for. Right.
Right. And so not that people necessarily buy your mug, even though it like offers zero value.
Right.
It has to be a good mug. It has to, if I got hot holding this or, I couldn't use it, then what your company stands for isn't enough to get me over it. So the product has to still be good and give me value. But this is economic value. This is like for my head. I want emotional value. I want to know that when I buy this mug, I'm helping support entrepreneurs in another country get training.
So value is still related, but it's a deeper relationship with the whatever it is. Not necessarily a benefit of using it right now. But
it's emotional value connected to the cause of why you're doing this, as opposed to just solving a specific problem that I have right now.
Got it. Choose one based on your personality and what you're doing. Always ABC. Always be creating or always be closing.
Creating.
All day long, right? All day long.
I'm prolific.
Right. I was using the dialer to make to connect with people that register for my webinar that I use to bring most of my customers in, and I wanted to try it because I'm from the school of thought / a little bit that do whatever it takes, right? But then honestly, I don't want to talk to people that don't want to talk to me, So now I've moved over to, I still collect their information and I'm able to connect with them by text and just have a conversation with whoever wants to, but I don't have to stay on there, wait for them to talk to me or anything like that. And I don't have to feel inside of my head like I'm about to, like the floor is about to swallow me, because that's how I feel when I'm sitting on the phone waiting for someone to say hello on the other end. I hate it. I feel like I'm allergic to it, right? So if you were me, right, and you had to choose between the dollar, I got to connect with people, because if I was bringing as much traffic in, maybe I won't need to, right? But I want to connect with people, bring more people in, right? So
how do you get there? You got to create more.
More.
I'm a weird bird on this, because I do zero follow-up. I do zero outbound, and if you reach out to me, I'll write back, but I won't follow up. There's no follow-up process. My follow-up process is my creation.
The creation.
So, like, you might come to me and say, hey, Evan, look, you have 100,000 subscribers. Great. You want to do a deal? Okay, perfect. Here's how much it costs. Here's what we can do.
Right.
If I don't hear back from you, I'm not spending my time following up with you. I'm spending my time creating more. I'm the Tupac of entrepreneurs, and like just prolific, more content. Because you may not write back to me, and the next time you look at me, I'm going to not have 100,000 subscribers, but 500,000 because I created more, and it just brings more stuff in. If you're following up constantly, my view, if you're constantly following up, it's dead time. Again, it's like convincing somebody.
Yeah.
I don't want to convince anybody. You don't like the idea of your one word? That's cool. Like, do something else. That's fine. I'm not wasting my time on this conversation.
Yeah.
I'm going to go create more. I'll write another book and sell that, and then create more YouTube videos and sell those. And so like always be creating leads to closing. All of the work that I create is value that leads to sales.
Right. So it's almost like that one thing. The one thing is creating. And it ends up in closing anyway, closing does not end up in creating. As a matter of fact, you're burning time that you never get back. Yeah, man, good stuff. Menlo Park is right here in my hood, just so you know.
Oh, nice, cool, okay.
Literally 10 minutes away from me, and that's where my first job was and all that, so I could relate all. So if you want to know about what he has to say about Menlo Park and Thomas Edison and all that, make sure you get the book. Absolutely, it's a phenomenal book, man. The book that I read before that is 4-Hour Workweek, which I think about probably, it's a beautiful book, but 50% of it was overkill for me personally. I wasn't feeling it. It was a bunch of waste of time for me. But your book from start to beginning, all 5 hours, man, all 5 hours, and probably faster if you're a reader. I think it was beautiful, man. So thank you so much, man. This everything is in this book. Resources, resourcefulness. In your opinion, why is this book different? Why should people go for it?
I think most people don't have the self-awareness to create a life and a business that is really meaningful. I think most people feel like they could be doing more. Doesn't mean that you're at a low. Most people feel like they could be doing more. Like you have more potential. You can reach for greater things, but you don't know how. And so this book gives you the clarity to figure out the path of what is super meaningful to you, and then give you the guidance to go out and build it.
All right, everybody, you heard it. So go ahead, go get the book. And thank you so much, man. So much value in this enough. But I'm sure they're going to get a lot more from the 5 hours. If you're doing the audio book, you still have some bonuses you're giving away, right? For people that pick up the book and stuff.
Yeah, there's bonuses. If you email in the receipt, there's some bonuses that you get alongside it. So you just have to send, on our website, there's a link. You just send it to that email, and we'll shoot you back the bonuses. All right, that's it. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Hey, do you want my Steps to Six-Figure PDF? Do you want that? Do you want my free ebook on how to make 6 figures income in simple steps? Simply go to networkmarketing2show.com. networkmarketing2show.com.